Welcome back to the weekly episode of my World of Warcraft Shadowlands adventures. This week we finish off Castle Nafria, obviously only looking for raid. We're not about that life. We're not a raider. We don't have a guild. We don't have the group to do it normal or heroic. And the final fight with Denathrius himself there was a challenge. I could see how in a normal difficulty that could be very difficult to do. And heroic, mythic would just be crazy. We do also question our existence in this episode. Should we be a frost mage? Should we be a fire? We do compare the both and then try out a few in different battlegrounds, so stick around if you want to see that. But without further ado, let's get into this one. So first things first, we did take down Denathrius. I didn't particularly need anything. I've already got higher gear level than looking for raid stuff. But I did want to do the fight. I wanted to see what it was like. I wanted to see the different mechanics. I did read about this one before going into it. Last week's episode, we tried to do the Castle Nafria without any guides or anything, and it was easy enough in looking for raid. This week, we did have to read a bit because there were a ton of different stuff he does. And in my raid, I was one of the few to survive. So that is, I'm going to take that. As a PvPer, I will take that all day.
I'm absolutely unbelievable.
Even during the PVM stuff, I am kind of umming and ahhing whether I should be fire or frost. Obviously, fire's got a ton more burst. Although I do think frost is highly underrated at the minute and it can offer some burst potential, but also it's got that longevity to it. It does a little more damage over time. You've got your water elemental to help you out, or you could take the lonely winter. Lonely winter is actually better for PVM, but I've gone for the water elemental just because I've been PvPing. And it's good to stop people drinking. I can freeze them with it. It's got so many uses in battlegrounds in particular, where I think it's worth doing. One thing this did make me realise is how bad the legendary is I crafted, which is unfortunate because I went for a high eye level one. I think it's 225 or 220, whatever the one around there is. So in this episode, we do look at legendaries and what the preferred choice is for a mage. But yeah, we went through this quite comfortably. There were a few mechanics where I was a little unsure of how it worked. But like I said, unlike a handful of people, most of the people in the group, I didn't die, so that is a bonus. But we did also get some time for PvP, so let's take a look at a few of those matches and some of the changes we took from Frost Mage to Fire. Now, it is worth noting, I did start as Fire Mage. I've pretty much been a Fire Mage all the way through leveling up. And most of 60, it's only the last week or so I've been Frost. I wanted to try it out. Obviously, I'm not the kind of player that optimizes things. It's what I enjoy. You can see here, I'm Deathborn Necrolord. It looks cool. It's a giant skeleton. I've also gone down the conduit, so it means when I turn into this, people around me get a boost. I get a bit more of a boost. So it does make it worth it. I will say if you are playing any kind of mage, honestly, Night Fae is the choice for you, particularly in PvP, because you've got the Night Fae teleport furry thing, whatever it is. You turn into an animal or a fox or something anyway, and that does help a ton with mobility, especially in PvP, but also just dodging mechanics in raids and dungeons as well. Fleshcraft is a nice ability, but I wouldn't recommend going Necrolord. Again, if you're trying to optimize, it's not the best choice. The conduits are good, and I do think it's just if they took away the cast time on Deathborn, I think maybe I would prefer Necrolord. But now how it is, I would say go Night Fae. So one of my first PvPs, I dropped in halfway. I was just trying to get the daily. Obviously you get a massive boost the first win each day in epics and regular. One of the alliance characters, I just noticed Spider Sense went off and I could see someone in the corner of my eye. I thought I should probably check, so I did, and luckily I caught 2 or 3 alliance trying to take this, and I do manage, me and this guy do manage to hold them off. We get a few more people come in and we do clear them out fairly comfortably. I do like Frost Mage in BGs just because of the slow. If you're against a melee class, there's no question I would go Frost. Obviously you can't change spec every time you want to fight somebody, so if you decide on Frost in BGs, I don't think it's a bad choice. It's just the Fire Mage is so important in such a bursty, and healing is so good in Shadowlands. There are so many different heals and so many classes have powerful heals, especially the tanks, or you've got the off healers like Shamans here, for example, or Paladins. Burst is so important because a Frost Mage, I'm not going to be able to kill somebody that's healing A Fire Mage, on the other hand, does do enough damage I could explode somebody before they're able to heal or even through heals. But this was kind of the perfect start for the dailies. Not only did I help save that base, but we're about to take control of the middle. And this was a quick win for the regular battleground. So I got a little ahead of myself after that. I did actually teleport back to Orgrimmar and set my world PvP on. Slip war mode on, just to fight in the open world. I think would be kind of cool. Little did I forget what PvP, world PvP in particular, is like in World of Warcraft. We found this little helpless soul, which I was going to try and fight, but that is not how it goes, obviously, because moments later, we are joined by somebody he's called in. Obviously, they both kill me. One of them spits on me. I teleport back to Orgrimmar to think over things, think my life over, and this is where I decided to change specs.
When you start hearing people like that say things like that, that gives me a fucking hard on.
So despite the bonuses of the slows and things from Frost, I just think the burst damage is far too important in Shadowlands. The amount of damage it puts out in comparison is just, especially for PvP, it's just, there's no, yeah, I think you have to be Fire Mage almost. I do think Frost has its place, and especially in Arena, there are comps that are going to favour Frost. But for now, we're going to go back to our roots. We're going to go back to Fire. Which does mean we need to sort our transmog out. Yeah, pretty sure that's skimpy enough. We'll throw that on for now. 730 gold down the shitter. But yeah, we are ready to try out Fire. There was some Frost before. Like I say, I do think it has some burst potential, and I do think it has survivability and a lot of damage and a lot of freezes to keep them away from you. So if you're leaning towards Frost, don't let this video put you off. I probably prefer Frost, honestly. I think Fire is in a much better place right now. Now, thankfully, I did get a new legendary. I got the Triune Ward, which lets you have all 3 shields at once, which not only works for all the different specs, which is perfect, because I do like playing Arcane as well. Even though it's nowhere near as good as the others recently, it does mean I don't have to keep changing legendaries with each spec. But let's try out Fire in some PvP matches. Now, what you're going to be trying to do in your rotation is you want to hit a Fireball, Fire Blast. Hopefully you proc your Hot Streak, which means you can fire off a free Pyro Ball with no cast time. I'm guessing you already know that if you're level 60 playing a Fire Mage. But this is a great example of it. The amount of burst you can put down as a Fire Mage, the amount of damage you can do in a short time, how quickly you can kill somebody, there is no comparison. There is no way Frost can compete with that, and I don't think the spec is intended to. But if you can get a few free casts with nobody on you, Fire is one of the most deadly specs in game. Not just mage specs, but specs in general. Now, they do take an early lead, and in any other BG, everybody would have given up, everybody would have started shouting at each other. I mean, some people are in chat, the others are trying to pull together and get this to work. I always like to go with a flag carrier. Obviously, we've got Frost Nova, we've got Dragon's Breath, we've got a ton of different control things, which helps us peel characters away from the flag carrier. And eventually, we do manage to pull it back one apiece. Now, if you don't do Battlegrounds, whoever scored last wins. So we just need to hold this 1-1, and we will win. Thankfully, we do go back and defend. This guy doesn't really know what's happening. I was going up top to set up. Obviously, I don't need to be down bottom where they can hit me. The second I start walking up there, he's shouting in chat, "Don't leave. We need more people to defend." We do eventually squeak by in the end. There is an onslaught just before, which you can see here, but we do manage to see it out. So I've got to be honest, PvP has been going really well for me recently. The more I've geared up, the more I've been enjoying it. Just Mage is so powerful now.
Look at the shadow swap, so the QSS removes the death mark, and then at this point he gets enough damage with the flash afterwards to chunk him just up. Ryu tries to come in, but here we go.
Back to the living shadow again.
And there's no better feeling than just hitting Pyroblast after Pyroblast. The amount of damage you can do is just so good. The amount of utility with your spells. Frost Nova, you've got your shields. The triple shield is so good, by the way. If you need a legendary, this is the legendary to go for. There's probably better ones for raiding and dungeons, just that would help with damage. Although even then, I don't know, I would just say this is the legendary to go for. We do obviously still need our epic BG win for the day. And unfortunately for me, I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing. It was a very long, drawn-out Ultrarak Valley. Now, if you play any PvP or any Ultrarak Valley, you know it's going to end with somebody killing a boss normally. And if it doesn't, that means you're taking towers back and forth, you're taking graveyards, and it's just a slow whittle down of characters, which is unfortunately how this one went. I'm not sure how long it actually...
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay, thank you for that. Oh god, that shit me up. I hate wearing... I didn't even say anything, like... Can't say the word because it's going to go off again. Anyway, I completely lost my train of thought now. Ultrarak Valley, yes. How long did it take? Who knows? 20 minutes, 30 minutes? It felt like forever. But we have got both our dailies done for PvP. We did a few extras just to get the extra honor and stuff. I am now item level 194, which might not seem that high, but I don't play World of Warcraft a ton. I'm sort of waiting for a few friends to join me again before I really get back into it. So I am just playing PvP here and now, which I'm bringing to you guys. And the odd raid. And have a little bit. I probably do play a fair bit. That might be a lie. But that is all for this episode. So that is what I've been doing. I've been raiding, I've been PvPing. Let me know what you're doing in Shadowlands currently. I am also trying to grind out Wind Fury for my warrior. And a few other things. The Bulwark of Azzinoth, that really cool spiked shield. A few mounts. Zul'Gurub I keep running. Ulduar. There's a few different ones I'm trying to work at the minute. But let me know what you guys are up to in the comments below. And I will be back shortly with more World of Warcraft content.